Hi everyone and welcome back to the kitchen. This morning we are going to be cooking a Victoria sandwich cake. Hi everyone, so the ingredients that we need for our Victoria sandwich cake is 150 grams of self-raising flour. We need 150 grams of sugar, 150 grams of margarine, 3 eggs, a tablespoon of icing sugar. And then for the buttercream, we're also going to need butter, vanilla essence, and some more icing sugar. Okay, so first thing you've got to do is set your oven. So preheat your oven to 180 degrees. And then you need to grease and or line your baking tins. Okay, so I've got greaseproof paper in the house. So what I've done is I've already put them inside my cake tin. If you don't have greaseproof paper, just use a bit of butter or a bit of margarine around the sides, and then this stops the cake from sticking to the cake tin. Okay, so next we're going to cream the margarine and the sugar together in a bowl. Okay, so the creaming method, this is some of the work that I've set you on Google Classrooms this week. So the creaming method is also known as the sugar shortening method, and this is when the sugar and the shortened fat are blended together and creamed by mixing. So during creaming, small air cells are formed and then incorporated into the mix, and then the mix becomes larger in volume and softer in consistency. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cream the margarine and sugar together in a bowl. So I've got my bowl, okay, just put it on my scales. I'm going to zero my scales, okay, and remember I am reading the method, I'm not reading the ingredients, because the ingredients are just put on the sheet in any form of order, and it's not the order that the ingredients need added to make the cake. Okay, right, so I've got my butter and sugar in my bowl. Okay, I've just plugged my food processor in. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the video down so you can see the bowl and you can see us mixing. Okay, right, so what we're doing is we're going to put the food processor in the bowl first with the ingredients, okay, and then we're going to slowly turn it on. Obviously it's going to get quite noisy, okay, so I will come back to you. Okay, so this is what the butter and sugar looks like once it's been creamed. So the creaming method has evenly dispersed the sugar throughout the batter, completely dissolving it into the butter. You also have increased the volume by mixing thoroughly and incorporating more air into the batter. The result is a lighter texture and it cooks cakes and cookies perfectly. Right, okay, so next task is adding the 3 eggs. Okay, so what I'm going to do is crack these in a separate bowl. Okay. So you whisk your eggs before you add them to the mixture, and what it's doing is it's adding air and it fluffs them up, and then this is going to affect the outcome of what you're baking because you're going to get more air into the mixture. Okay, so I'm just going to show you beating the eggs with a whisk, okay? Right, so I've got myself a wooden spatula, okay, and what I'm doing is I am adding the eggs into the butter and sugar, okay? I'm just adding them a little bit at a time, okay? We're going to just keep stirring, and I'm putting all my dishes in the sink once I've finished with them. Okay, so in the mixture we have our butter, our sugar and our eggs. Next, we're going to add the flour. And we're going to add the flour using a mixture called folding. Okay, so folding is the technique used for combining two different mixtures that have different textures. Okay, so it's often used, or folding is often used when you're mixing a light aerated mixture, which is what we've got in the bowl, and then a heavy mixture, which is the flour, which we also are now going to add into our light mixture. Okay, so I have added my 150 grams of flour to the egg, butter and sugar mixture, and I've got my spatula. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, we've done this method in school before, and I'm literally going to fold the mixture together. Okay, so since I've folded the flour into the mixture, we've got a uniform texture and we haven't lost any volume. There's a load of volume in this bowl. Okay, so I've used my wide flat utensil with a large surface because it's allowed us to lift up a large amount of the mixture at once. So literally, just as if you were folding something, just keep folding your mixture together. Okay. Okay, so now we have to separate the mixture. So I have 2 cake tins, so what I'm going to do is separate the cake mix in half and put half in one cake tin and half in the other. If you don't have 2 cake tins, just put it in one cake tin, and then once your cake's cooked, you can cut it in half. Okay, just going to move the camera down just so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So again, using my spatula to scrape out the cake mix, and then straight into the bowl, into the cake tin, sorry. So you want your cakes as even as possible and spread out all the way to the side of the cake tin, okay? So I'm just again using my spatula, and I'm just gonna evenly spread the mixture in the cake tins. So cakes are now ready to go into the oven, and they're gonna go into the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, okay? So 2 seconds, let's pop these in the oven. Okay, and I'll get them in a second. So when the cake is cooking, it's a perfect time to make the butter icing for the middle. Okay, so buttercream, it's really simple to make. However, we need to ensure that you can create the right consistency, because the last thing you want is a lumpy buttercream in the middle of your cake. Okay, so buttercream, what you want is you want your butter to be a nice soft consistency. Okay, so I've had my butter out of the fridge since I've started to make my cake, so my butter is at the right consistency. We're going to need our icing sugar and also our vanilla essence. Back to this view again so you can see the bowl. Okay, what I'm going to do is add 250 grams of unsalted butter into my bowl. Perfect. And then I'm going to use the hand blender again just to give this a good blend. Okay. So when I use the hand blender, I'm going to make sure that I'm just really lightening up the mixture. Okay, I don't want to make it like water or too liquidy. Literally, it's just going to look like that. Okay. Okay, so this mixture is telling us to add 500 grams of icing sugar. So what I'm going to do is, I've added 200 grams to my butter, okay? I'm going to give it a quick blend, and then I'm going to go and add the rest of my mixture, okay? So what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla extract into the mixture, okay? And then I'm going to continue to add the icing sugar and mix it with the hand mixer. I'm going to lift it up so you can see what I'm doing. and you can see that it's starting to get really thick, okay? So there's only one real way to tell if buttercream's done, and that's to taste it. And I've had a little taste and it tastes absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it in the fridge just until my cake's finished cooking, okay? Okay, so I've just took the cakes out the oven. They look a little bit like this, okay? I'm going to lift them out the cake tins and put them on a cooling rack so we can now cool them down before decorating and stuff. Right, so back to our cake now, okay? So I'm going to put my bottom layer of cake onto my cake stand, okay? And then I'm going to spoon some of the buttercream on top. Then using my spatula, I'm just going to gently make sure all the areas of the cake have got a good coating of buttercream on. Okay. And then with my top layer of cake, flip it upside down, okay. Jam, I'm using strawberry jam, okay. I'm going to put a good spoonful of strawberry jam on the cake, and then with the back of the spoon, I'm just going to push this into the cake. I'm not pushing it too hard, and again, I just want an even covering of jam all around the cake. Don't forget the very edges. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to really carefully pick this cake up and lay it on top of the top layer. Okay. Then again, using one of the fresh strawberries that I had left over, I've just placed that on the top of the cake and give it a little dusting with icing sugar. Enjoy!